Broken heart, I married my enemy to save my family. Now he wants me dead. My name is Eniola, and if I had known how cruel life could be, I might never have trusted the sweetness of my youth. I grew up in Ibadan, where the sun rose over our modest compound, warming my father's laughter and my mother's gentle songs. My father owned a small logistics company. It wasn't a giant empire, but it paid our bills and gave us joy. I went to university, dreamed of getting a master's degree abroad. I was even engaged to Tunji, my childhood sweetheart. Then everything collapsed. One Thursday evening, my father came home looking as though he'd aged 20 years in a day. His company accounts were frozen. Heavy debts he never signed for, debts in hundreds of millions, suddenly tied to his name. My mother wept all night. I tried to comfort her, but inside I was terrified. Days later, our house was invaded by men in black suits. They packed out our furniture, seized my mother's jewelry. The shame nearly killed my father. He stopped eating, stopped smiling. And then came Damilaire Odigun. I had heard of him. The ruthless tycoon who built an empire buying failing companies and stripping them for profit. When he showed up in our parlor, the air seemed to freeze. He was strikingly handsome but cold like marble. He sat across from my trembling father and offered him a drink, which my father refused with shaking hands. Then he smiled at me, and it wasn't kind. "My dear Eniola, your father's situation is unfortunate, but I can make it vanish. Completely." I swallowed hard. "How?" I managed to whisper. "Marry me. Be my wife. In exchange, your father's debts will disappear. Your family will keep this house, your mother's dignity, your father's life." My father fell to his knees, clutching Damilaire's trousers. "Please leave my daughter out of this. Take me instead. I will do anything." Damilaire gently pushed him away. "This is not negotiable." My mother sobbed. Tunji called for days, but I didn't answer. What future did we have if my father died of shame or stroke? So I agreed. Our wedding was lavish, splashed across magazines. But inside, it was a funeral for my dreams. The first night in our new mansion, Damilaire barely touched me. Instead, he poured himself a drink and watched me with hooded eyes. "You did this for them," he said finally, swirling his glass. "Let's see how long your loyalty lasts." From then on, he treated me like an expensive decoration. At parties, he draped an arm around me, whispering sweet lies to guests. But behind closed doors he was distant, cold, often gone for days. Sometimes I smelled strange perfume on his shirts. 3 months passed. I played the perfect wife, even though my heart was shattering. I missed Tunji, who sent desperate texts I never answered. My mother thanked me every time she visited. My father couldn't even look me in the eye. Then one rainy evening, I couldn't sleep and wandered downstairs. Damilaire's office door was slightly ajar. I heard laughter, cruel, amused. He was on the phone. Yes, she believed she saved them. Foolish girl. Her father's debts were fabricated. I needed leverage to marry into their name and clean up some loose ends. Once I'm done with her, they'll be homeless anyway. I clapped a hand over my mouth. My knees buckled. I crawled back to my room, clutching my stomach. I couldn't breathe. The next morning I confronted him. "You lied to me. You're destroying my family even after all this. Why marry me at all?" He tilted his head, amused. "Because, my dear, I wanted your father's remaining contracts and your family's reputation to launder mine. Your beauty was just a pleasant bonus." I slapped him. Hard. My palm stung, but he only smiled. "I'd be careful if I were you. Everything your family still owns is under my name. One word, and they're on the streets." Weeks later, another shock. I discovered I was pregnant. I nearly collapsed. Damilaire's child. What did this mean for me? For my future? When I told him, his reaction startled me. He seemed almost gentle. He began staying home more, touching my belly with something close to tenderness. But I didn't trust it. Couldn't. Then I stumbled on documents hidden in a drawer, evidence of large transactions under my father's name, signatures forged. Dammelaer had orchestrated everything from the start. He wanted our company as a front for money laundering. I started secretly recording our conversations. I also called Tunji, who hadn't stopped loving me. Together, he and a friend in the anti-fraud agency planned to expose Dammelaer. One night, I slipped out with my recordings and documents. Dammelaer's men chased me through the compound, but Tunji was waiting by the gate. We sped off into the dark. We stayed hidden for days as the investigation unfolded. Then the story broke nationwide. Business mogul Dammelaer Odigun arrested for massive fraud, forgery, and conspiracy. Seeing him in handcuffs on TV was like finally breathing after months underwater. Months later, I gave birth to a beautiful baby girl. I named her Ifeoluwa, God's love. My father regained his honor. Our small company reopened under Tunji's help. He proposed to me again, kneeling by my hospital bed, tears in his eyes. I told him I needed time. Too many scars to heal. But deep down, hope was blooming again. Now, when I watch my daughter sleep, I whisper, "Your mother fought monsters so you could dream. One day, I'll tell you everything. So you'll know to trust yourself, to never let any man hold your worth in his hands."